Hey everyone, welcome back to our podcast here over at the Institute of Indigenous Learning slash First Nation Center slash we're here at Fanshawe College. This is the We Are Indigenous podcast, and today we have a guest of ours. So this one is not me being solo like the last one. We're able to get a guest today, and I think how we're going to kind of do it, which is great, is last probably a couple episodes ago we introduced you guys to Natalie, who's our assistant manager here at the First Nation Center slash Institute of Indigenous Learning, and today we're going to speak with my colleague. We've been working together. He's been at the center for a couple years now, year two.
Yeah, just ending up to year two.
Yeah, ending up year two. But me and him previously worked together in this, I was doing my recruitment capacity, but then Brian was coming doing workshops with me. So that was probably another 2 seasons before that. And Brian worked at Career Services. Any more introductions? So today's guest is Brian Malott. He is our Indigenous career consultant here at the Institute of Indigenous Learning slash the First Nation Center. Hey everyone, give Brian, say hello, Brian.
Thanks for having me on, Dan. Look forward to being part of the show, I guess.
Awesome, cool. So we're gonna go through a few questions with you, Brian. So we want to get to know about you a little bit more. So what I kind of said, you are the Indigenous recruitment and community. Oh, sorry, that's my.
No, that's your job.
Yeah, sorry, that's Friday.
Do you want me to do your job too?
No, I mean, might as well. All right, sorry. You're an Indigenous career consultant. So what does that actually mean? What does your role entail with that title? Like, what is your responsibility? What is your focus? What are you trying to do to help students at the our Indigenous students here at Fanshawe College?
Yeah, my role, like I kind of, as Dan said, work in the First Nation Center. Kind of as a career consultant. So my role there is kind of, I got a couple of responsibilities. One is kind of talking with students about what they want to do for a career. For me, it's kind of, I'm excited about helping people like figuring out what they're passionate about and working on career-wise. Like, you spend so much time in your job. If you're not enjoying it, like, it's something you should be kind of connecting with and enjoying. And so in that, I get to work with students, kind of figuring out what career they want to do, what program fits for that. Also help with them kind of applying the jobs, talking to employers, just kind of connecting and figuring out what setting you want to do that way.
Okay. And what was your role previously? Like, so how long have you been here? So you've been at the center for 2 years. Institute of Indigenous Learning, 2 years. How long have you been here at Fanshawe?
So I've been at Fanshawe. I started in April of 2012, so probably like 8 years and a month or so, I guess.
Okay.
And before that, worked at not-for-profit doing kind of helping unemployed people look for work too. So been kind of in the field for like 9 years or so, and then education. And
so how did you get a job here? Really? Like, what were the steps to kind of, you said you worked at a nonprofit before and all that, but like, so what made you leave the nonprofit to come Fanshawe, or was was it kind of a more natural thing, or were you kind of like, I'm looking for just kind of how did it happen?
So how it initially happened was I was finishing up a school placement. Was doing it at the London Employment Help Center and had done that for a couple months. Then was volunteering for a couple months because I wanted to really kind of get into that field of doing work. And then from there was given kind of met Darlene, who saw me at a job fair and kind of hired me part-time to start. And that's how I kind of started at Fanshawe, and then through there I kind of bounced through a couple of different roles and stuff.
So what was your first role? Like, can you walk from, like, I want to know, like, what was your first role? What did it turn into? So on and so forth. So what was the first role?
So my first role was I was a part-time employment consultant. So did that for probably about 6 months at the college. And from there took on there was a resource and information officer that was a vacancy because of it was unfilled because somebody had changed jobs. So I did that for a couple months and bounced back and forth between that and the part-time thing. Then got hired full-time as the full-time resource and information officer. And that role was really just delivering job search workshops and helping people with resumes. And so I did that for two years or so, and then became an employment consultant. So that's working more one-on-one with people, but also doing workshops and career assessments. So I did that for a couple of years and at the community employment offices and stuff. And then, there's a mat leave that I covered at Career Services. So I ended up covering that for a year and a half and kind of got to work. So all the time I was still working with people looking for work, but just kind of translating from that. And then when I was at Career Services, had the opportunity to kind of come into the work with the First Nation Center and do the same work I've been doing, but kind of focus it more on helping students. And so it's kind of
And then how did we start working together? Like, I know how we did, but like, how were you asking on your end when you were at?
On my end, my manager at the time, Lisa, came and asked if we're doing this program kind of called Find Your Future, which had some career assessments and was kind of a 2-day workshop. We were doing it with people looking to come to the college. So we, I think you had heard about the program, or Lisa had suggested it. So
yeah, I think Guy and Lisa probably were talking about it in a meeting, and he asked me, he was like, "What do you think about this? Like, is this something that we could probably utilize?" I was like, "Oh yeah, for sure, we definitely could."
So we from there took the 2-day version of it, made it down to a 1-hour kind of presentation we could do to high school students, and kind of started that a couple of years ago. And I remember it was kind of interesting, kind of starting to work with you, and like our first awkward car ride over.
Yeah,
driving along and looking in your car, and you had a little Detroit Tigers thing on your mirror, I guess. And so I led us into a baseball question. I remember you weren't quite sure if I actually knew baseball, so you asked me what my thoughts were on Johnny Mack and if he was a real ball player or just a Toronto player. I'm like, he's just a Toronto player. He's not.
100%. Because like, it was an interesting kind of, he's kind of like, oh, you're gonna work with this person, and then it's like, you gotta pick them up. So I picked him up, Brian, and we kind of were like, okay. And I was like, well, we're gonna have to figure out how to talk to each other because we're gonna have to present. And so we just kind of organically went from there. Like, we went to, I don't even know where we traveled to, but it was like 2 years of kind of that recruitment season, just going to schools. And I will say, how did you feel about actually doing it at first? Like, why was it you specifically that they asked to do it, or they're just kind of like, no one wants to do this, so let Brian do it? Which I'm glad they did, because it worked out for the benefit for us. But was there anything particular, like, why?
I think like part of it was I had helped design the program, but it came down to kind of I was interested in kind of working with First Nation, like the First Nation Center, kind of learn about it, because part of it I was trying to research my own background a bit and learn, and it was just kind of a casual way, and it was kind of fun and got me out of the office a couple of days, years.
Yeah, definitely. So how has the growth been since when we first went on the road till our last season together, or last fall together? Like, are we still doing the same way, or have we shifted and evolved in how we do it?
I think we've evolved it a lot over the last couple of years. So it's more, I know last year we had kind of the guiding circles teachings that we had learned into the model. So it's kind of got more interests and values that are kind of based off of the Indigenous career tool, but also just got more hands-on. So we added those challenge cards this year that were kind of useful for helping students kind of figure out which challenges they wanted to sort out in their life. I think the other change I've seen is that the questions students are asking us now are more specific to the careers they're looking at. Right? Where our first year they were just kind of asking, like, we were giving away like free T-shirts if you answered a question. They were like, "Where's Fanshawe?" Or like, And now it was more very specific questions to like, what do I need? What courses do I need to take to get into this? I think it was a nursing program that they asked about. So I think over that last couple of years, as we've been doing it, because some of these students we saw in grade 10, they're now kind of getting up into their kind of senior years. They're more engaged in that kind of career thing than they were, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, definitely. No, I would say that too. So I've been kind of, I don't know how many seasons it's been, either 5 or 6 now. But yeah, you definitely see the change in how these young Indigenous people view education, and even how they ask questions, right? It's like what you said, like before it'd be like, "Where's Fanshawe? What do you have?" This, or not even like, "What do you have?" It's just a random question, like, this, kind of like whatever questions. and now they're very specific. And I think that shows like the value and emphasis that education is starting to have in Indigenous communities. And I think it's young people really seeing the importance of like what educational opportunities can open up. That being said, when we're bringing students in here to find their educational journey, what was kind of your educational journey? What was that? How did that look like for you?
So for me, yeah, like I've had went to a lot of different schools and programs and stuff. But I started off, I was going through like a youth leadership program, kind of being a youth leader is what I was looking to do, and got about a couple years into that, and just kind of said, this ain't me. Like, I just not feeling it, so kind of quit college the first time, and wasn't like, well, that was cool. I spent my entire high school career looking at being so now what do I do? And so what
was kind of that moment like when it happened? Was it like was it a crisis moment?
It was kind of a crisis moment because like I didn't at that point didn't know which direction I was going. Like I knew where I was going wasn't the right path, so I needed to figure out how to change it, what to do. At the time, I used like a career assessment tool, like the Myers-Briggs indicator, to figure out like what kind of personality I had. And in that list came a list of careers, and career consulting was one of them. And I was like, well, cool. I can get paid to give people like career advice. This sounds awesome. I didn't know this could be a job. So I looked up where I could take that education, found out Conestoga had that program, and one of the requirements to get in it was you had to have a previous education, which if I had talked to probably a career consultant, I probably could have skipped a few steps to my journey. But so I thought, well, if I need a previous education, might as well learn about human resources. So I'm going to give people advice on working in a career. Might as well learn how to, like, the rules of hiring and firing and all that jazz. So took a kind of a continuing ed, was working full time and worked taking education part time, got my HR done, and then did my career development program.
How long was that career development program? Was it a grad cert?
It's a grad cert, so it's only
1 year.
1 year. I spread it over 2.5 because I was just working doing it part time. So completed that, and then that's when I got hired by Fanshawe pretty much after that. Yeah. But after that, I took like a college teaching diploma that was like a 1 year thing, so learned how to develop course curriculum, deliver that, and then recently just kind of completed a Bachelor of General Studies that I was taking through Athabasca, that they let me transfer a lot of my stuff there, and just gave me that kind of bachelor degree, which was, for me, was kind of rewarding this December because that's where I started back in like the beginning of my education, dropped out of my bachelor degree, so to kind of come back in and finish a bachelor degree was kind of cool.
And how was that? Was it rough getting the last bit done?
Oh, it was rough.
What was so rough about it?
The problem was the courses were, I had to do like 4 general courses. So like I had 1 English and 3 like a science, and they were all first year courses. So I was just finding it difficult to get engaged in things I wasn't interested in. Like I was literally just trying to get my bachelor degree so I could check that box. So struggle a bit. And then my last kind of couple of courses, I found an Excel class that counted as a science. So did that. I found a course on sports psychology, which was a science. So knocked off my 2 sciences, and then actually took a course on the atom bomb too, that counted as my English. So so I found some courses that made it fun near the end, but definitely.
And how was it, relief or accomplishment when you were done?
It was definitely accomplishment when I was done. Like it was, I think I walked out in the parking lot and just kind of jumped in there and yelled "woo!" and it was kind of good to have that done. Yeah,
awesome. And is there any other plans to further your education?
I was kind of looking at an executive coaching program I've got at the University of BC. I was talking to a couple of alumni from that last week or so just to find out how they liked the course, what did they learn from it, and so I'm probably going to research.
Is there people at Fanshawe that have that currently, or would you run into the people that were?
I just I emailed their program and asked them like, hey, can I connect me with a couple alumni because I want to find out like what's this program like, because I don't want to drop money if it's not the right fit or right time for me or whatnot. So
what is it? What does it entail? What did the alumni come back with you?
So it came back with, it's a lot of practicing through the theory, and so you learn through a lot of the practice of doing like coaching, right? So it's not a theory based, even though it's a university, it's not really theory. It's more you're going to put in 40 or 50 hours of executive coaching, and you have to find a not-for-profit that you can do the coaching practice with while you're as part of your, that's like 40% of your overall mark.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a short program. It's only 6 months, but it's really intense. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what are you thinking now after talking to a few people?
I think it's the right, because I wanted to get something that gives a skill. That was the thing. I didn't want to just go and get like a theory-based thing. I want something that I could actually then turn and use with people. So
yeah,
I think it's the right fit. It's just a matter of figuring out how I could schedule that or whatnot. But
yeah. So we kind of talked about, so when you were working, so you're at college now. I've been here about 9 years. What kind of jobs did you have growing up? Like, I guess, the one day I seen you shared this photo and had all these pins of all the various roles you had.
My name tag
Your
collection.
name tag collection. So when did you start working?
So I started working probably.
Well, yeah, I guess, what would be your first job?
First job was I worked at Godfather's. It was a pizza place at the time, and it was like grade 8, so 14, I think.
Yeah. Godfather Pizza, by the way, if people that aren't aware of it, it is a staple of any small town in southwestern Ontario.
It's no longer in Port Stanley. That's where I started. But one of the fun facts, when I met Dan, there's a Godfather's in his hometown, so I sometimes stop.
I do love Godfather's Pizza, so shout out to Godfather's Pizza. I doubt anyone of them will ever see this, but if in case they do,
we like garlic strips.
Yeah, garlic strips. I'm a big fan of your panzerottis also. They're delicious. Anyway, sorry, I digress. All right, so you worked at Godfather Pizza. How old were you?
14. So I worked there a couple of years.
What would you do at Godfather Pizza?
I'd kind of wash the dishes. I'd dump the flour into the big mixing industrial mixer thing, I guess. Chop up the ingredients. Sometimes I was allowed to go.
Fingertips cut off or no?
No, I got all my fingertips.
Yeah.
I did burn. My first job, I grabbed the hot pan and burned my fingerprints into that pan, and I actually still have that pan. I took it when I left because it was like, my fingerprints are in. This is mine.
Now, why would you grab a hot pan?
My job was to wash the pans, so we'd kind of wash off the grease that came off. So we'd throw them in a box as they come off the oven, and I'd reach in and grab it and just throw it in the sink. But
so is there supposed to be a delay in between when you grab it and then get thrown into the box?
You're supposed to or at least reach down to the bottom of the box and grab the pans that have been in there for a while. But I just
were you not thinking, or you just kind of or you're just kind of going through gotta clean,
and
did you cry?
Oh, I think I probably swore and probably threw the pan on the floor. But
what happened? Did you get blistered up then?
I blistered up pretty bad, and then I was washing dishes and stuff, so I had to go put a glove on, so it wasn't.
Oh, they didn't let you go home?
No.
Oh, interesting. So how long? All right. So how long were you? Did you have to come in your next shift too and everything?
Yeah, I came in I think I only worked on Fridays or Saturdays, so just a week between them. So
did it take a long time to heal up?
Probably about a week or so.
No, that's not bad. Okay, so you worked there for a couple of years. What's next after that?
Next, can
you remember every job you have?
I probably could.
Well, we're gonna go through all of them right now then.
So, in high school, what I would do is actually go to Costco and buy those 12 packs of chocolate bars.
Okay.
I'd sell them out of my locker for $1 a chocolate bar. So
contraband? You were selling contraband?
Well, some people would say, contraband, or
was it affiliated with the school's company?
No,
that's contraband. And
it was out of my locker.
You're a candy pusher.
Yeah.
Which is not that bad of a thing, but still. Contraband.
All right. Go on. Then kind of went off to college, and
so in between, while you were still working at Godfather, you were hustling candy bars, or was that after your Godfather job?
That was after the Godfather job. I was hustling candy bars, but also at the time, my mom was a Tupperware sales consultant. So I became a so she could become a manager. She had to have 4 consultants under her. So
okay, go on.
So I actually did sell Tupperware throughout high school. Yeah. So
I'm laughing because I've never heard this story. Okay, go on, Brian. How old were you?
Probably 16, 17.
You're a 16-year-old selling Tupperware?
Yeah.
And, were you successful at it?
Yeah, I'd probably average $100 a month.
Who are you selling it to?
So I was selling it to my the German teacher, the English teacher, a couple of the staff at the high school I was at. Plus, then I was selling it to the youth group I was at, selling to parents and stuff, but I probably was making like $100.
Does anyone ever bring it up to like, hey, Brian, remember when you were selling me Tupperware?
A couple, like, I don't see those people that many anymore, but.
All right, so you worked at Godfather Pizza.
Yeah.
And also kind of Godfather. Did they let you end up making pizza eventually?
Yeah, I did get to make pizza and stuff.
Yeah. How long did it take to get to that?
Probably took me 6 months to get up.
6 months? Like, well, you can't really wash a pan good because he burns himself. Let's wait a little longer. So Godfather, you left there. You started hustling candy bars.
Yeah.
Then you started hustling Tupperware.
I've always said if you can sell something with a lifetime guarantee, that's what you're selling on a piece of plastic.
So you started off at a establishment, then you got lost to the streets selling candy bars, and then you got involved with a pyramid scheme called Tupperware.
Oh, no, that's not the pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme is if you ever been to Tupperware meetings, it's like I almost used to just call it Tupperware church, like where they have a little chant and they'd have a song before they'd start the thing, and like you're all
really.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do they even make Tupperware anymore?
Yeah, they do. It's now all online and stuff, and you can still have Tupperware parties, I think.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's cool. I never heard that before. That's pretty interesting. All right, what happened? How long were you slinging Tupperware for?
Probably most of my high school career.
So like when you delivered the Tupperware, did you have to like come in and you were like just drop them off and whatever and be like, what the hell's Brian doing?
No, everyone is like,
they were like, oh, Brian selling Tupperware.
And yeah, I think I had a couple friends had.
All right, what's the breakdown of like? So you sell Tupperware. Would you say like you had $100 in sales a month or maybe more? What percent? Like, how do you make money off of it then?
I would think depending on the piece, like you make a couple bucks per item. So if you're selling a $30 item, you're probably making maybe $3-4 on that one. Sometimes they'd have like a promo during the month. So like, if you sell the Rockin' Serves this month, you get
What was your hottest item that you would sell? What was like the number one seller?
Probably the Rockin' Serves at the time because they were the ones that you could put in the microwave, and you could also freeze them. So you could freeze like a chili and then throw it right in the microwave.
All right. So to me, when you're selling Tupperware, it seems like it's a one-time sale. Like, or did people consistently go like, "Hey, I need some more Tupperware"? Like, did you have repeat customers?
Well, what you do is you'd have the monthly flyer. So you'd go hit your repeat customers and say like, "Hey, just so you know, this month we have this on sale as well. So if you need anything or." So usually,
do you still own Tupperware yourself?
Oh, I have. My entire kitchen's full of Tupperware, actually.
Good quality.
Yeah.
So, like right now, if something went wrong, could you contact Tupperware and you get a replacement?
I still have a friend, who I could probably get them to replace like I've replaced their lids and stuff that are broken and.
Yeah. Yo, shout out Tupperware. Like, hook us up. You got like a guy selling Tupperware at age 16. What have you been onto the Tupperware site lately?
I did check it back in the fall when a friend of mine had thrown up on Facebook or something because I was looking for it's called That's a Bowl, but it's like a giant bowl
That's wild. All right, so so you sell Tupperware and then you go to school. Yeah. What kind of job did you have when you first went to school?
So when I first went to school,
I know there's a cool story. I'm hoping he tells it. So
I think what you're.
But was there a job in between there?
No, I just kind of done the chocolate bars and Tupperware throughout high school, and then when I first got to school, me and my roommate converted our we were in residence. We converted our living space into a place that we call like Res Bar.
Yeah.
And so the best part was we were selling like egg milk.
And you were like you lived on a dry campus too, right?
It wasn't just a dry campus. You weren't allowed to. There was no TV, no dancing, no like. We're talking like. You ever seen Footloose?
Yeah, you went to to Footloose U.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
No singing, no dance. So we started selling English muffins and eggs for like $1 a piece.
Okay.
Best part was at the time. I had a pager when I was at college, so you could
Yo, don't let Brian's looks fool you. This guy is a grimy street dealer, man. He had a pager. All right, go on.
That college only had a campus of probably 8 classrooms, so people would text the pager like what classroom they were in and how many English muffins they'd want, and we'd run it up there, and there's a a couple dollar delivery charge for on campus because we lived in residence. So
Yeah.
we did that, and then we expanded and added a bunch more products to the stuff we were selling. So overall, like between me and my roommate, we were selling like expired pop, and we were selling we had different because it was a dry campus. We had all these drinks that were like like a virgin screwdriver, which is like just an orange juice, or
Okay. Yeah.
how
much? Like, so what was like? What would you guys be able to? Were you guys able to live off this?
Yeah, like I think our monthly split, like I think we were each getting like $150, $200. That's
pretty good
each.
money.
So we were.
And when was this? This was like what years?
2002.
That's good money back then.
So, yeah, it was kind of our first.
Yeah.
I did that, and again, probably
You can never leave the contraband life, yay?
Once you go into that life, you really.
That's what they call it, a trap, man. You know, they call it trap life. Even that, this trap life. All right, so. Is there any like more funny stories about the actual sales? Like, didn't you say even like professors would get it from you, or no?
So when we were buying the pop, we were actually buying it off the college who had changed vending machines and weren't able to sell that pop anymore. So
okay, I'm just making sure it's not like a campus that says like no caffeine either.
No. So we were buying it off of them and selling it back to students and stuff, and so they were getting kind of paid out of that, and
yeah.
We let a lot of the residence advisors run a tab too that we could, just because they wanted.
Did you have a ledger? Did you guys have a ledger?
There was a ledger.
All right.
And yeah, we may have at the end of the year. I sold the ledger to somebody to go collect the rest of what was owed to us, and
yeah.
A funny story. Remember when mouse ball, like computer mouses, you could take the ball out of the mouse and.
Yep.
Yeah. So the guy went and took a bunch of people's balls out of their mouse and left a sticky note saying they owed like $3.80 to him for the res bar thing. Yeah. So yeah, he may have taken all.
So all right. So the sandwiches, res bar. What was the profit margin on these sandwiches?
So a sandwich would cost like 23 cents. So we were making 77 cents.
So what would you put on a sandwich? Like, break it down.
So like a slice of Kraft cheese, like the packaging.
A full slice.
One full slice, an English muffin. We'd crack one egg, put it in a Tupperware bowl, and microwave it in the.
Of course, it was a Tupperware bowl. All right, go on. So is it like a specific Tupperware cooker bowl too?
No, it was just a bowl that was just the same size as an English muffin.
You weren't even frying eggs. You were microwaving eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
My roommate did argue about the fried egg thing, but it took too much time. I said for 30 seconds we could do the microwaving of eggs. So.
Yeah, that respect. Like that's how what you call it used to be here too. They microwave their eggs.
Yeah.
What was it? Olive oils.
Olive oils.
Yeah, it's still good.
They were good.
All right, so Kraft single McMuffin English muffin,
one egg,
microwave Tupperware egg, and then what? That's it, or is there meat?
No, there's no meat. There was
no meat, eh?
No.
So that's how you were able to keep the profit margins low?
Yeah. And then we just
no one ever complained, but like, where's the meat? Or were you guys allowed to have meat on this campus?
No, we were allowed to have meat on that campus. The occasional time we'd have a special where if we found like meat on sale, we'd buy it and then throw it as a promo. But
all right. And how long did this lucrative scheme last?
It was 1 year, and then I left.
1 year and you left. Okay. Do you know if they ever continued it?
I know there is rules in the college handbook about not starting businesses on campus without permission, so probably not. They made the rules after we left.
Ryan's living a dangerous life, getting rules, getting policies created, changed because he was hustling. All right, so he did that. He left, and then what after that?
I was working at Black's Photography after that, so I really enjoyed photography at the time, and they had a cool discount for buying camera equipment and stuff. And
so were you always into the photography?
I was always into photography, probably since I was like 7 or 8. Like always had like a point and shoot camera, and actually in high school sold all my my grandma had got me savings bonds and sold them all to buy my first SLR. So I had that in like grade 9 or 10, and so kind of had that all along. And then worked for Black's at
oh, sorry. This guy, his life is just all over the place. He's hustling candies and Tupperware, and he still got savings bonds. That's cool. All right. So when you got hired at Black's, is that, as you said,
Yeah.
it's called Black's. How did you get hired? Like, was you know someone there on the inside, or was it kind of just like literally a resume?
Just dropped a resume, but I was the yearbook editor at the college at
Okay.
the time too, so I had lots of experience. And my first day was actually remember that massive blackout that we had in like.
Like the summer blackout.
Yeah, that was my first shift. So
okay, so what happened on? Walk us through that.
I got there and they said, "Well, you don't need to work today." 'Cause
Okay, yeah.
there's no power. There's
Yep.
kind of a. But yeah, I worked for Black's for probably a year and a bit after that. Like went and came back here to London and worked at a store there, and I shifted from there because where I was living, it was just too far of a drive to London, so. Went and worked at Van Pelt's and worked as a custom products division.
What's Van Pelt's?
So it's an office supply store.
Okay.
It's a family-run one that's
Still in existence.
So yeah, I used to sell like
paper products. You would sell paper products.
I didn't sell paper products. I wasn't that well. I sold like custom products. So
you weren't that good yet to sell the
No.
paper products. Okay. So what'd you sell?
so like I'd sell like promotional pens or
Okay, yep.
lanyards or anything that you wanted to get your name kind of put on, like jackets or
Okay.
stuff like that. So do company branding that way.
All right.
Was offered they were making those Livestrong bracelets, and they asked if we wanted to be the Canadian
Oh yeah.
exclusive like people for those, and we
So
said
what do you mean by developer? Like you guys would
we'd be the ones who'd be selling, like being the first party seller to everyone else who was kind of
wanting them,
wanting the bracelets, and
like the official ones,
The
not
official-
like knockoffs.
not the knockoffs, like the actual rubber bands that would have the company
Yeah.
bracelets.
And what happened?
Me and my boss had talked and said that nobody's going to buy elastic bands to wear as a bracelet. And so we turned down that business, and then the Livestrong bracelets came out
Oh man,
probably 5 months after we had turned down the opportunity because they were coming from Europe, so being the Canadian exclusive.
Man, you guys are idiots. Those were the hottest things. They would. Oh man, I remember buying them. How much did you pay for them? Like $5 or
Yeah, you'd pay $5, and I think even the cost on them was only
like pennies?
it was like
10
it was like 50 cents a bracelet was like the actual.
because it was silicone, right?
Yeah,
Man, I'm telling you, those were everywhere. Everyone had them.
yeah. Every company, every brand would have had.
Yeah, because then you would be a supplier of like, oh, we want our version of this. What did that guy say? Like, what did your boss? Does he ever talk about it? Do you ever talk about it? Do you keep in contact?
I don't keep in contact with him.
No?
I left shortly after we.
Do you think he regrets that?
I think there was a moment where we probably could have made a little more money
Yeah,
doing that, but
he probably could be retired right now. Hey,
he is actually retired now. But he could,
but like very comfortable. That's sweet. All right, so then what after that?
Then I started working at Shoppers Drug Mart, and they at the time were hiring lots of former Blacks employees to run their photo labs. So I kind of took over that
Because Black's closed up.
because Blacks had closed up at that point, or was in the process of closing. And so I think at one point every manager in London was a former Blacks employee when I had started. So we always joked that it was just we're all managers now. Like all the. So worked there
on the come up.
on the coming up. We've been. I think I was at Shoppers for 7-8 years, and
Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed it. Like had a lot of flexibility. Like my owner at the time had a lot of trust in what we did, and gave me a lot of free reign. So I was able to hire the staff I wanted and train them and develop them how I wanted. We did a lot of cool things and activities and stuff, and I'm trying to think what we did.
Is there any funny stories from your Shoppers days in the photo lab? What do you guys do? What do you guys do with the racy photos? What would happen if there was racy photos?
We had because it was all digital. You didn't really unlike when I used to work in the film.
Okay,
You had to process everything individually. The machine would just generally do them.
and we just cover them.
cover them, put them away.
I was hoping for a better story, but it's all right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, we didn't really do much.
Unless it was like the first one or the last one, right? You wouldn't really see it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, man. Anyways. So you worked there for years, and then while you were there, is that when you were going to school
I
as
was
well?
going to school there as well. And, so that was kind of a good balance between school and work while I was doing that. We did a lot of cool.
Yeah. All right. So from all these jobs, All these jobs you had the experience of, from working at Godfather, hustling candies, hustling Tupperware, hustling breakfast sandwiches and orange juice, virgin screwdrivers, to then Blacks, Van Pelt's,
Yeah.
Shoppers. Have they all played a role in what you do now?
I think so. Like, I think a lot of what I do now is pretty, I'm independent to do what we need to do to kind of grow the opportunities for students to kind of learn careers that they're interested in and kind of connect to employers. So I think a lot of that, like, ability to kind of connect and talk to people goes into what I do now. Like, where I'll call employers and just say, "Hi, it's Brian from Fanshawe," right?
Yeah.
Or, "Hi, it's Brian from the First Nation Center at Fanshawe." Yeah. It's the same strategy as like when you were selling, like, like I said, if you're cold calling and selling Tupperware, it's the same.
Yeah,
there's some techniques there, but I think having the independence also when I was building the photo lab, it's kind of equipped me to do what I'm building right now in the center as well. So it's kind of, because I always built the photo lab in the mindset, like, I'm building it for the next 8 years, but I also am training my staff that, like, if I left tomorrow, this thing doesn't fall apart like that.
Yeah,
I thought that would be a mark of if the photo lab completely folded when I left, that wouldn't be. So I think that's the same kind of mindset I'm putting into what we're building now, is building the structure and processes that, like, yeah, I'm hoping to be here for, a while, right? But I also don't want to just fold under if I, won the lottery or something, or won the lottery again, I guess. But
oh yeah, okay, we'll get to that near the end. That's a pretty cool story. And all right, so what is some advice you would have for Indigenous students to find employment?
I think the advice I would have is this: looking for those opportunities, like, especially if you're, while you're at the college, like, don't wait until April when you graduate to look for employment. Like, start connecting to employers early on. Like, the other thing is, don't think the job that you get is going to have to be the next 40 years. Like, I've had a lot of different jobs and stuff, but try things out. I think that's the employers seem really interested to hire. Like, I guess my thing would be trying to apply, but also, like, don't be afraid to go after what you want too. Like, I think there are job opportunities that can give you the cool opportunities for your family and for yourself that you just have to reach out. And it might take a couple of years of training, or you might have to go through a job to get to another job. Like,
and it's kind of like every opportunity and every job is important because of the skills that you learn from it, right? So even all these kind of jobs are all kind of funny. I'm making fun of you a little bit, Bill, but like there's something to be learned in it, right? It's even in like the candy bars and like the Tupperware. It's like it's just showing the initiative to like just put yourself out there and try to find a way. Because it was probably like how awkward it'd be when you were first trying to sell Tupperware, right?
Yeah, like it was
like a 16-year-old kid rolls up to your house or whatever, like, or is that how does it work for selling?
You usually use like the catalogs and stuff and say like, hey, I don't know if you're having Tupperware consultant, but like,
were you your mom's number one salesperson?
I can't remember. I probably
who were the other
not.
Three?
I can't remember. The trick was if you could ever, if you could sell enough money that Tupperware would actually pay for you to have a van. That's what my mom's goal was. So if you had like 6 people working for, like, kind of really working, you could probably get a Tupperware van.
Yeah. But again, kind of back to the point though, is like all these things, they show like there's skills that you learn out of them, even if they're soft skills, or there's just like that ability to, talk to people, and especially, photo lab, some stuff would happen, right? Or so you'd have to learn how to deal with difficult people or anything like that, right?
Well, and like the photo lab you're dealing with, I know a couple times I had clients who come in who were, their dad had just passed away, right? And they're like, I have this handful of photos I need to, make something for, dad. And they're I said, just leave it here. We got this covered. Like, we'll make it look good. We'll honor your dad. Like, don't. Yeah. So, and that was skills I had to teach. Like, I had like staff who was like 14 working for me at that point that, teach them the skills. Like, this is how you have to be empathetic because, or we had exciting moments where, like, I remember once somebody brought me, they'd taken pictures of their premature baby that was like the size of a Whopper. They had, like, they were holding a Whopper and their baby in their two hands. So, and then, like,
I'm sorry. That's not so I should be laughing at, but like it was great ideas to be like, hey, our kid's a preemie. Let's get a Whopper. Oh, okay, go on. All right, so yeah, so you have to do stuff like that. Right?
You have to do stuff like that, but the cool thing is, I remember seeing that kid's, like, first day of school photos and stuff.
Yeah.
Years later too. So you were interacting with our customers throughout their kind of their highs and lows, because that's when you take pictures of their highs and lows of their life. And I think those skills of being empathetic and being able to connect with people where they're at, or
I mean, that helps you now, right? Especially with the people you work with, or even when you were in your role, like when you were at the nonprofit, right? And you're dealing with people like having like
people being laid off, or people
who maybe worked for 30 years, right? And it's being told like and there's soft skills you have to be able to communicate, and
I think the
empathy, right?
The empathy. I think also just having the courage to go after some opportunities, right? Like, there was times that, like, being I was able to take advantage of opportunities just because I'm like, well, there's no fear. The worst they're going to say is no. Let's just try this and see what happens, right? Yeah, sometimes, it went well. Sometimes, like, we, failed kind of miserably at things. But it was taking those chances to, still laughing and
I know. It's like people just tune in now. They'll just be like, "Is he crying?"
No, I'm still laughing about our.
I agree. I know it was tears from laughing.
But no, I think those skills helped with it, and, like, even to be able to connect with people. Like, I've always connected with people, be it, like, throughout the career, like pizza, the Godfathers, to Photo Lab, to even now what I do now. Like, it's.
I think there's something important of being able to work with people, right? It's that idea of, like, that human interaction. It's like, that you can get jobs with zero human interaction, but most of the jobs that, like, especially in our kind of field, like, it's human to human contact, right? You're gonna have to figure out how to work with people, talk to people, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's that work with people, and it's also the being not afraid to adapt your thing. Like, when I came to the center 2 years ago, like, I had at that point been working for 6 or 7 years in the career field, so I had a pretty good practice and knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
But being open to looking at how do I readjust, like, I know we talked about the guiding circles thing. That was something we added into my repertoire, but it almost took me to have to refigure out how to do the work I do, and not be afraid to, like, okay, let's readjust. Let's figure out how to make things.
Yeah. So, you've had experience of working elsewhere in the same career consultant, all those various forms, and then here. What has excited you the most about working at the center? Like, have you feel like there's more freedom, more opportunity, or is it like you said, you're kind of I guess maybe almost like freedom to create? Like, what is your favorite part of your role and what you're doing or able to do?
I think the day-to-day thing I love is when we can sit down and have a conversation about, like, where you want to go in your career, what do you want to do in your future. Like, I was talking with a student today just about, like, they're looking and doing some changing of what program they're taking, right? And kind of encouraging them, empowering them to look at what possibilities could be there. Like, that's the fun. Like, I love those conversations when people get kind of real quiet when they're talking to you. Like, they're like, okay, like, I don't tell anybody about this, like, kind of hope or dream I was hoping to do, but, like, what I really would like to do is this. I love having that conversation with students, and then saying, like, yeah, you can do it. There's, like, let's figure it out. Maybe it's breaking it, like, a couple of steps. Maybe you gotta go to education. Maybe you gotta go get some experience. But I love connecting on those moments when students are, like, kind of believing that they can actually go above and beyond, do the things that they want to do. Like, so that's kind of the fun moment. And what I like about the center is I like where guys kind of talking about what we're going to do with the plan. I feel like we're, like, I was talking to him this morning about something that we're planning on doing in a couple of years from now. He sees the big picture of where we're going. Like, he can gives the space for us to kind of work and develop in that. So like I can develop programming that will lead into that thing for 3 years from now, and like talk to our employer relationships that we have. Like I love that I can just call employers. Like we had our CMP in yesterday, right? And they, and she just sat and just talked to a student, and she was okay with that. It was just, one student, because that was investing in kind of building, and she gets where we're going with the, it's not about the volume of people. It's about how do we make those quality connections and move people forward in their career journey. So, no, those are the things I get excited about. Like when I go home and say, yeah, today was a kick-ass day. Like I got to do this. Like, yeah, and as all jobs, like, yeah, days I do paperwork, I go home like, yay, I got to work on an Excel sheet all day. Nothing against Excel, but,
Yep.
That's not what I get excited about, those interactions with people. That's what I...
Awesome. Yeah, man, I think that's awesome. Thanks for sharing today. I really appreciate it. Oh, before you go, so this is kind of like a little side story. I'll let Brian kind of interject at that point. But I remember at one point in time, like, we were on the road, and then there was in between, and we're trying to figure out the next thing. And then Brian was just like, hey, what's he up to? And he's like, just won the lottery. And he texts me, and I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? I was like, huh? And he sent me the art, and I'll let you just kind of share the story.
So, yeah, a couple of years ago, there was 25 of us at the college who bought hospital lottery tickets, and we won the dream home. So we had won between us $1 million, and it was funny because that night, like when I was literally watching on the news, like showing Dad, like here we are, at the dream home, like right, and Dan just texted me because I think the weather was bad. He's like, how's it going and whatnot. I'm like, like, guy, I just won the lottery like 4 hours ago. What do you mean, how's it going?
Yeah, and I was like, what?
And then I sent him a link, and he's like, well, that's awesome, and like. Yeah. He's like, well, congrats.
I was pretty pissed off though that he never included me in the group. But oh well, that's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah,
but
like even from that group, I know there's like a special person in that you have a special connection to. And
yeah, like my friend Karen at the time, she kind of organized the whole group and got us all together to do it. And I know she passed away last year with pancreatic cancer, and so through that she. Was able to kind of experience some of the hospital services that they could offer and help with that. And so, no, that was kind of cool that she was, like, I know it sucked that she passed away, but cool that she kind of could still contribute to the hospital thing. Like, even, like, I know we did a promo video for the Dream Home before, like, just as she was, so that was kind of a cool experience. And, I know
but she was almost like your Yoda too, right?
She would be my Yoda. Like, she taught me about how to like deliver workshops, and like one of the things I know we had to work on was there was a certain style of delivery I did because of just we had to break out of I had this like real wicked thing I do with my hands when I was talking when I was working like workshop facilitating, so we had to like kind of purposely
teach you to keep the hands,
and it was just kind of change some of the like the way I was just kind of enunciating and bringing out stuff, because it just kind of I remember her saying like at my age, it almost sounded condescending when I was like kind of 30 and like delivering this, but it was just the way I'd learned how to deliver in kind of a profound, like in a manner that kind of sounded more profound, like almost like Captain Kirk with like the delays and stuff. But like, no, it was kind of cool having that experience talking to her, like, and having her help me with that. And like, I actually kind of, she left me some stuff when she had passed away. So I've been actually going through that in the last couple of weeks that have like, icebreakers and activities to use in workshops. So like just kind of it's fun. We've got a couple students in the center now who are asking like they want to learn how to do workshops. So I've been showing them like, hey, here's how you design things, here's how you use the icebreakers. And it's interesting because like I can hear my friend Karen's voice, what she was saying to me, like kind of like, okay, teach them the same kind of skills, right? It's how do you connect with people, right? So that was kind of and so it was kind of cool that won the lottery with her and stuff, but
she also taught you a lot about life.
Oh, she taught me
about this career and what to do.
Yeah, taught me lots about the career and taught me like how to. And so I think she acted as a mentor kind of in that first in my early parts of my career here at Fanshawe and stuff. That And I think if anything else to say about like finding a mentor,
Yeah,
in
that's
you- in
that's
your
why I kind of
field.
let it there. I know
Yeah.
I appreciate you even sharing about Karen, and how, and I appreciate Karen. I actually never met her, but I just appreciate how she instilled all these things for you, because I love working for you. And that's like even how when the job came available, it was almost like me and you were like on this weird of like, might think it's like we couldn't tell, like I knew you were getting hired, you knew you were getting hired, but like because of things we weren't sure if we were able to share it with each other and stuff. But yeah, she instilled a lot of things with you. But but that idea what you just said right now is like mentored, like just be open to whoever you don't even know who the mentor may be, right?
Yeah, like be open to those mentors. I know one piece of advice she gave me before I started the job was she said to kind of almost think of it like she kind of like showed me as like a heartbeat on her desk, but said like, you need to think of the pace of what you're doing as like a heartbeat. She said, you're so excited about this job that she said, but you need to go slow into this. Don't rush it. Take your time, because she said, you'll let this grow. This will be a good experience. But so I think that was just kind of one of her advice that she'd given to me as I was starting this was just ease into it. You'll be fine. Just trust the process. And
Well said. All right, I think that's it for the week. I appreciate you coming in, bro. I really appreciate you sharing about your journey and your life story, and I shared a lot of laughs with you today. And yeah, shout out to thank you, Karen, for all that you've done. We really appreciate it.
yeah, thank you.
All right, take care.